Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, we on? Hey, what's going on, y'all? And welcome to the 50th episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold, and welcome. So we are just gonna go ahead and get into it. But before I get into it, I wanna apologize for my audio last week. It was a little unprofessional. You know, there was like a lot of clipping. And I like to have a good production, you know. So this week I tried to really work on my audio levels, and right now I'm not clipping. So I'm monitoring that as that goes on. Also, I upgraded my internet, you know, because when you stream or when you're trying to produce a live stream, 100 megabits per second ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? So I went ahead and upgraded for a couple dollars. So now I'm up to around, I should be getting 300 megabits per second. So hopefully, like, you know, this prevents the live stream from getting cut in and out, because when I was watching it back on the playback last week, there was a lot of it was a lot of clipping, and then there was a lot of freeze framing and it was just real jittery, you know. So I'm trying to have a smooth production, you know. See, I do this all for you guys, you know. Like, you are the end customer, so I'm making sure that I'm doing this for you, you know. So, anywho, let's go ahead and get on with the show. Oh, before I get going, I got my I got my Cobra Kai hat on. Yeah, Cobra Kai, that's my series. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let me go ahead and get on with the show. So, as you guys know, I'm a Bills fan, and I like to link all of my episodes to Buffalo Bills of past and present. So today's episode is linked to two Buffalo Bills, actually. See, why am I still clipping right now? Hold on, give me a second. Let me fix this audio right quick. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so I got two Buffalo Bills today, two of them. All right, so today with episode number 50, this episode is tied to Kiko Alonso and is tied to Gregory Rousseau, who currently plays for the Bills. Kiko used to play for the Bills when I believe it was when no, he was yes, right, he played during the Rex Ryan era. And I like Kiko, man. Kiko had a nose for the ball, you know. I really like Kiko Alonso. I liked he's a very headsy player, was really good in coverage, but he didn't fit the Rex Ryan system. So I remember he got traded, and then he went to the Dolphins, and he is known for the infamous hit on Joe Flacco on that Thursday night game. I think it was a Halloween night game? I think it was a Halloween night game, or the day before Halloween. Around that, it was during Halloween week, and Kiko launched at Joe Flacco while he was sliding. And basically like speared him underneath his face mask, you know. So that was a very gruesome hit. It was a 90s hit. To me, that was 90s football. But I mean, of course, you got to make the game safe. You can't do that. But he's known for that hit. So, anywho, like I said, man, when he played for the Bills, man, he always, like, I think every other game he had an interception. He kind of reminded me of his style of play. He kind of reminded me of what's that guy's name for the Patriots? I can't think of his name right now. Oh man, but you know, the linebacker, Teddy Bruschi. He kind of reminded me of like a Teddy Bruschi type player, where he just had a nose for the ball. Like if it was a fumble, he was going to find a way to get the ball. If it was a bad pass or coverage, he's going to find a way to pick it off. So today's episode tied to Kiko Alonso, and Greg Rousseau is the Bills defensive end they got out of University of Miami. I like this player a lot. He was drafted for the sole purpose of Pat Mahomes. Yeah. He was drafted to keep an eye on Pat Mahomes. So he had a great rookie campaign last year, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. So, anywho, that's that. Let me go ahead and fix these levels again right quick. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get on to the tongue twisty part of the show. So, as you guys know, I like to do a tongue twister to kind of get myself going. So I get my mouth going. There's no way to say it without sounding weird, but I do it because it helps me to focus on what I'm saying and pay attention to my speech pattern and making sure I'm talking at a certain level. So today's tongue twisty is Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. Say it 2 more times. Say it with me. Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. One more again. Bob bought a bleached blue beaded blazer. So I shouldn't be talking no faster than that. I have this theory where when you do a tongue twister, that's the fastest that you should be talking at, because that's like your threshold for when your brain and your mouth are synced up. So that's what we're doing. So let's go ahead and get on to the promotional part of the show. And here we go with the promotional part of the show. So as I told you guys, I did it. I went ahead and I got my Kayla Watts Jurassic Park action figure. So as you guys know, Kayla Watts was played by the great actress DeWanda Wise, and DeWanda grew up in my neighborhood, or in my neighboring neighborhood. She grew up in this spot called High Ridge, Laurel, Maryland. Right, I grew up in Laurel. Laurel has little subsections, and she grew up in High Ridge, Laurel, Maryland. She went to high school with my cousin E, and I met her a few times. Like I said, one of my previous episodes, I got out of school early one day, and when I got out of school, I beat E, Butch, Lenny, and Bruce home. So she was home early from school that day, and then I played video games with her for a few seconds or whatever. And now look at her, man. She's an action figure, man. She's an action figure, man. This is motivation right here, man. It'll be dope. I'm gonna try to get her to sign this for me, man. But man, this is motivation, man. This shows you that anything is possible. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. All right. So shout out to DeWanda Wise, and I got her action figure. So that's my promotion for the day. Pardon the chair, it's a little squeaky. My comfy chair is a little squeaky, and I'm moving around a little bit, but that's A-okay, right? Because I'm not going to be doing it too much. So let's go ahead and get on with the DraftKings portion of the show. And if you hear some little kids outside making noise and yelling and stuff, I apologize. I don't know what it is, man. As soon as I start my podcast, man, that's when everybody wants to make noise. Kids want to run around and stomp their feet. MC Mega Beats next door wants to go make an album or produce an album and starts. But this is why it's called Trippin with Theobold, man. There's gonna be hiccups. Nothing's gonna be perfect, and it is what it is. All right. So let's go ahead and get on with the DraftKings portion of the show. So before I get on there, I want to touch on some things with DraftKings right quick. So basically, I got some complaints for DraftKings, man. DraftKings, if you're listening, I got some complaints. All right. So when are we going to be able to change our username? Right? Because when I first started playing DraftKings eons ago, I made a screen name at the drop of a hat, just to kind of get in so I could play a contest. And now I'm stuck with that name, and I've been stuck with that name for the longest time, and I want to change it. Um, it's so amazing how you guys have all this technology to sync everybody up, to play all these contests, and to pay people out, and to analyze all the stats and produce all this data, but you can't allow people to change their username. I think that's kind of weird, man. I should be able to change my username, and as long as it's linked to a valid account, that's all that matters. It should only be one account. So anyways, that's my little rant for that. But what else am I gonna talk about? Yeah, because the reason why I want to change my name is because I'm trying to protect my identity on this podcast, right? I'm trying to protect my DraftKings identity from this pod, right? Like, I don't want people to watch the YouTube version of this and then see my screen name or see my username in DraftKings, and then when I hit that Millie Maker a couple of times, I don't want them to know that it's me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep this money quiet, right? If I win a Millie Maker, man, I ain't saying nothing. Right? When I win this Millie Maker, it's just gonna be to the side, because as you guys know, corporate America, I'm kind of tired of it. I'm kind of tired of corporate America, and I like to build up my funds so I can move freely within corporate America to get more funds, and if we come to a point to where we're like butting heads, like I'm not gonna be walking on eggshells my whole life, right? I'm not doing that. So the more you stack your bread, the less you gotta walk on eggshells. All right. So anyways, let's go ahead and get on to DraftKings, talking more analytics and more why we're here on the show. So So last week I got my ass kicked in DraftKings. So I was doing the spreadsheet method. I was trying not to look at stats and everything else. Like I was just paying attention to who was winning which tier. That's all I was doing. I was paying attention to who was winning what tier, because my theory was, if you keep track of all of the tiers, you might see that one slot in one tier is winning like 95% of the time. So why not just play that slot, But everything is pretty like well distributed, So it is what it is. I'm still gonna keep track of my slots and my spreadsheets, because I like to just know, because as you know, with DraftKings, when you actually want to go back to look to see who else was in another tier, you can't, how should I put it? You can't look at who else was in your tier, right? All you can look at was who you picked, right? After you won, or after you participated in a tier competition, which is why I keep track of everything in the spreadsheet. So anyways, I'm back to looking at the DFS data, and I don't like looking at DFS data like that, or I don't like looking at DraftKings data like that, because you're basically, my theory is I don't like to use data from a source that I'm paying to play in the competition with, like I don't like that, because they're probably going to put a whole bunch of like sucker data out there, and the whole point is to dupe you into picking someone that's probably not going to win, So, but I had some luck doing that this week, as you guys will see in a few seconds. I actually did it the old-fashioned way, no line star data. And a matter of fact, I'm probably going to do an episode on line star data, doing a review on line star data, because I think that line star has a lot of good information, but I think they also have too much information, and when you have too much information, sometimes too much information is less, or too much information is less than, or sometimes too much information is just too much, therefore it's less information, right? So I'll probably do like a review on that, but not going to get bogged down with that. Let's go ahead and take a look to see what happened. What did I do? So here we go. Before I do, I forgot, I got to pull up my chat, man, see who's joining me. Let me pull up my chat. And then of course I got to go to YouTube to copy the link. No one's in my chat room, but that's okay. Oh, I forgot to, let me do one thing right quick. Let me, man, I'm all over the place. Let me go ahead and do this. Copy this chat so I can see who pops in to check on little old me. And here's the link. And now I can see my chat and no one's in here, which is okay. And then on top of that, what I want to do is I want to also tell people that I am on. I want to tell people that I am on. So I've been going for a few minutes. Let me go ahead and just let the fam know what's going on right quick. Turn my camera around. Okay, let me go back to my YouTube. Let me just do this right quick. Here we go. Let me just put this on. Actually, let me do it here. Is there another? There we go. Put this in my story. Hey guys, what's up, man? I'm tripping on Trippin with Theobold live. Make sure you guys come check me out. Come and trip with a player. All right, peace. I'm out. That probably didn't sound too convincing, but it is what it is, and I don't have a link for it. I'm not gonna post that because only got one person watching and it's me. So let me just go ahead and do it this way. Turn it around. I was gonna show my screen. Let me put this on right quick. There we go. Hey y'all, what's going on? Right now I'm tripping with Theobold. Make sure y'all tune in on Instagram. I mean, nah, I'm not doing that. I gotta work on that. I'm not gonna do that right quick. Let me just move on with the show. Cause I wanted to put a link up and all that stuff, but I forgot. And when you forget, it doesn't come out the way that you want it. So, that's okay. We'll do it better next time. So, let's go ahead and get on with the DraftKings portion of the show right quick. Here we go. Or continue with the DraftKings portion of the show, I might say. So today I had a pretty good win. I had a $2 win yesterday. So where are we at? So as you guys can see, I came in 339th place out of 3,000 people. I won $2. You know, so yay to me. Won $2. My goal, like I said, man, if I can win $2 every day for a year straight, right, that's over $700, right? I'll take that, right? I'll take that, and I'll just keep reinvesting it, and I'll keep winning, you know, because the whole point of DraftKings is you want to play with house money. You don't want to play with your own money. And I haven't put money in my account for like maybe like 3 months. You know, so I'm playing with house money right now. You know, that's the name of the game. You want to play with other people's money. You don't want to play with your money. You want to play with other people's money. All right, so that's that. So you see what place I can put up 48 points, and let's take a look at this here right now, right? So here we go. Actually, why did I put that there? I actually wanted to put this. That's okay. All right, here we go. So as you guys can see, I got beat by, well, first place put up 65 points and they won $150. It would have been nice if I could have came up with that cash, but you know, it is what it is. And my how should I put it? So so I have two things now, right? I have my DFS Woe and I have my DFS Wow. My DFS Woe, spelled WOE, is the pick that messed me up, and the DFS Wow is the pick that I picked that no one else picked, or it's the pick that actually separated me from the rest of the herd. So as you guys can see, the two people I'm going to look at, I'm not going to look at everybody. That's going to take too long. But my DFS Woe from yesterday was Francisco Lindor, right? I picked Francisco Lindor, and I think he was in tier 3, and I lost to the person in first place. So Francisco Lindor gave up the most points, or I was behind the most with Francisco Lindor in this tier, right? So in tier 3, Gleyber Torres had 16, Francisco Lindor had 7 points. So I was short 9 points. If I would have picked Gleyber Torres, I would have made up the 9-point difference, but okay, oh well, life happens. So Francisco Lindor, man, I'm gonna need you to help me, help us, because you're making millions playing baseball. I just need you to pick it up whenever I pick you, so I can pay my bills. I can pay my bills now, but I want to be able to pay my bills even more, right? I want to have some more disposable income. So come on, Francisco Lindor, when I pick you, I need you to go off, baby. I need you to go off, champ. And then my DFS Wow pick my DSF Wow pick from yesterday was Adley Rutschman. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. Adley Rutschman. Yeah, Adley Rutschman. He plays for the Baltimore Orioles, and he's my DFS Wow pick because I matched the person, as you can see at the bottom. I matched he's in tier 5. So I matched the first place winner in tier 5 by picking Adley Rutschman, and only 6.8% of the pool picked Adley Rutschman. So that's my wow pick of the week. Only 6% out of 3,000 people picked him. So yay me. Let's go and look at the data a little deeper. I'm gonna show y'all what I did. I'm gonna show y'all the method behind my madness that helped me to come up with this little $2. So let me go and plug this in right quick. Actually, first, let me go ahead and where am I at now? Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Pull up DraftKings. Let me show y'all the method to my madness. I'm getting beat right now. Damn, I'm getting smoked, but that's besides the point. So here we go. Let me go ahead and plug him in. And we have action. There we go. So as you guys can see, these are the players that I picked. I picked George Springer, Ahmed Rosario, Francisco Lindor, Christian Vasquez, Adley Rutschman, and Josh Naylor. So let's take a look at what I did for Adley Rutschman. That's what I want to do. That's all I'm going to look at, because Francisco Lindor messed me up. But here's what I did, right? Actually, let me look at his profile, and let me go to the game log, right? So here's what I did. I looked at the point scoring system for DraftKings and looked at what points give me the most, right? So in baseball, it goes home runs, then it goes triples, doubles, RBIs, I think. And then, it goes home runs. I believe it goes home runs, stolen bases, triples, doubles, and then so forth and so on. So I did that, and I just looked at this. I looked at the data breakdown that's provided by DraftKings, and I looked at each category, not every category, but what I did was I looked at the home run column for Adley Rutschman. And what I noticed was he hit a home run on the 16th at Tampa Bay, and then he hit a home run then he hit another home run on the 7th at home versus the Angels, right? And between those two dates when he hit those home runs, there's a 3-game gap, right? So for 3 games he didn't hit a home run, but then sorry, I can't even count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, so there was a 6-game gap between when he hit those home runs, and he was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he basically was 6 games. He was 6 games without hitting a home run, right? So I said to myself, okay, it's about time for him to hit another home run. And then I looked at the triples and the doubles, right? He had he only has 1 triple on the season, but he has 18 doubles on the season, right? So then I looked at his double count, right? And as you can see in the double column, he basically has a 3-game gap or a 2-game gap without hitting a double. And he was 2 games, and he basically missed 2 games for hitting a double. So I figured he was on deck to hit a double as well too, So I went through all that. He didn't do any of that, by the way. But I just went. That was my thought process: was who's overdue for hitting a double, right? Or who's overdue for hitting what category, right? And you want to pick a player that is overdue the most to rack up points in the categories that descend in decreasing order, right? So that was the method behind my madness. Like I said, I did that for all the players, and I won $2, so that was that. So yay me. So like I said before, I'm gonna probably keep doing this because it saves time. And then later on in the year, probably around mid football season, I'm probably gonna get back into my neural network ways. As you guys know, I like to dibble and dabble in machine learning and neural networks, and I got a couple courses that I registered for, so I'm gonna basically hustle backwards and take these online courses, so that way I can harvest some data and then feed the data to the neural network and let it come up with its numbers, and then I'm going to still do my thing on the side, and then I'm going to basically be competing with myself, right? I'm going to basically pick things my way, and then after that I am going to let the computer do its thing and see, if between the two of us, if we can't, get some of this money. Like I said, man, by hook or by crook, I'm gonna get this shit. I'm gonna figure this out, man. Like the owners found a way to get their money, the players are being greedy and they found a way to get their money. Now it's time for the fans to be greedy and get their money. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. That's that. So that concludes the DFS portion of the show. Now I want to go ahead and get on this right quick, man. I was looking at some news. I was actually on social media, and I saw a news article pop up. And when I saw it pop up, I was like, nah, man, no. I was really disappointed. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. So I went ahead and I Googled I went ahead and I Googled the article, and I'm just going to pull this up for y'all right quick. So here we go. Steelers, Mike Tomlin says no more kneeling on his field. You're athletes, not activists. So let's just read the article briefly. It says Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, has issued a mandate to all of his players for the upcoming season. There will be no kneeling on the field. Tomlin's statement came as a shock. Okay, whatever. Tomlin says he's tired of people hating America and not being able to stand to recognize a song for 2 minutes once a week. So first of all, I got this article from it's on weconservative.com. So it's one website, right? I can't find too many more articles on this. But Mr. Tomlin, my brother, if this is true, man, this is not a good look for you, my brother. Not a good look, man. because the way the article reads and those quotes in there, very, very, I don't know. It's very, very, it's very, very propaganda-ish, you know? Like nobody, like, just because we don't stand for a song or because people don't want to stand for the anthem for 2 minutes doesn't mean they hate America, you know? But as you being a black man should know that, you know, America is different for black people in general, you know? And until things are equal on all playing across the board, deal with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But here's where so if this is true, like I said, this might not be true. This may be some doctored thing or they took his words out of context. I hope so, but if not, it's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for you. So, the problem I have with that, if he did say this, is he said no more kneeling on his field. Last time I checked, man, you don't own the Steelers, dog. Like, you coach them, but you don't own them, right? If anything, that's what's his name? I'm blanking right now. Rooney. If anything, that's Rooney's team. You know, that's the Rooney family's team. So, the fact that he's gonna come out and jump out and try to tell an owner what is not gonna be on his field, man, man, you out of pocket, man. You know, and if this whole article is true, I think that organization is falling apart, and they probably got to part ways, because that's something that should have been ran through the owner, and then the owner should have came out and made a statement. That shouldn't have come from the head coach, right? Because he doesn't own the Steelers, you know. The Rooneys own the Steelers, not Mike Tomlin, you know. And here's the thing too, right? Everybody is entitled to feel the way they want to feel, you know. But it's not cool to make people do something, especially this, right? Because this basically is borderlining fascism right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. If you're gonna make people praise or do something that they don't feel like the country's worthy of, then that's basically fascism. You know, everything that we fought for in World War II or fought against the Germans in World War II, we're basically, you know, co-signing that shit. You know. So for example, let me give you an example, right? So when I was in school back in the day, you know, we used to celebrate holidays and stuff. You know, we used to have like holidays for Christmas, and let me take a drink of this right quick. Right, we used to celebrate Christmas and Halloween, all that stuff, you know. And then we had 2 Jehovah's Witnesses in my class, and you know, they basically, whenever we did the Christmas celebration or whenever we did like the Halloween stuff, they had the option to go into another room, bigger, like another classroom, shut the door, and either do homework or do other things, right? But they didn't have to, like, they weren't forcing them to participate in holidays, which was against their religion, and I was cool with that. I think that's fair, you know. So with all that being said, I hope that the more complete statement that he made is if you don't want to stand for the anthem, then stay in the locker room, right? Like that to me, I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fair. But still, again, that shouldn't be coming from Mike Tomlin's mouth. That should be coming from the Rooney family, because they own the stadium, they own the team, you know. But with Mr. Tomlin being a black man, you know, and with all the things that's going on in the media, in the news pertaining to black males and how we get slaughtered by law enforcement, and just how we're just like treated, and how we're undermined by the Democrats and the Republicans. It's like, come on, man. It's like, bro, you shouldn't even be touching this. Like, if you're not gonna, like, I don't know, man. Like right now, if this were like I said, this might not even be true. But if this is true, he on that coon train. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This right here is coon talk. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you should be forcing people to do this, you know? Like, to me, it's like, you know, at least give some options, you know? I don't know. It just, to me, it's just like I said, it's just this is like I said, it's coon talk, man, because you gonna speak up on this, but you ain't gonna speak up on Tamir Rice. You ain't gonna speak up on whatever else, right? So to me, it's like, if you're gonna be hush about that, be hush about this. So, Mr. Tomlin, I hope this isn't true. Like I said, I like you as like I said, I like you as a coach. I respect you for what you brought to the game. I respect like the way you command yourself or the way you conduct yourself in the media. But if this is what you about, man, bruh, this is not a good look, man. So I don't know what prompted you to say this, if you did say this, but I know you lost Big Ben, and I know you're looking at trying to find another quarterback for your team and all this, and I know you're on the hot seat, but my brother, this is not the path you want to go down. Trust me, this is not the way you want to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there. Like I said, everybody is entitled to feel their way they want to feel. And one more thing about the anthem, right, is people are acting like this was part of the NFL since the start. Like, the anthem didn't come around until like the early 80s, maybe late 70s, if that, and it's not something that was part of the game from the start. Now, if this was something that was part of the game from the start, maybe my opinion would be a little different, but clearly the reason why they're doing this whole anthem thing is because they want to get money from because they want to get money from the armed forces. It's a money grab. The NFL is about that money. They're gonna put on a cloak and say it's really for this, but really they're trying to get paid, right? So let's just call a spade, So anyways, Mike Tomlin, I hope this article is not true. I hope there's more context to it. But if it is, my brother, man, get off that coon train, champ. That's not the train you want to be on. So now let's go ahead and get into the main crux of the show, right? The main portion of the show. This is why we're here, right? This is the main portion of the show. But before I do that, let me go ahead and take a quick break because I see something that I have to fix, and I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm not back. Give me 2 more seconds. And we're back. Okay, cool. Now I'm better. Now I'm good. So now we are going to talk about the subject at hand. Mike versus LeBron. Oh yeah, we're going to get in on this one. Mike versus LeBron. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because the other night, a few weeks ago, I said the other night a few weeks ago. That's stupid. But about a week ago, I was hanging out with some comics. A lot of them were like younger, some were older. And then we had the LeBron MJ debate. And I'm just done arguing with millennials on LeBron versus Mike. Like, from now on, whenever this, like I'm putting I'm saying my piece on this, and this is gonna be it, right? Like, from now on, if people want to know what I think about MJ versus LeBron, I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna tell them, hey, go look at my podcast, go check it out. All my information is gonna be there. I'm not gonna repeat myself, and it is what it is, But I don't have time to be arguing and babbling with people over LeBron and Mike. So when people ask me that in public, or when we're asked about LeBron and Mike, my response is going to be, who cares? Like, both of them got their money, right? Both of them got their millions. I'm working on getting my first million, So, don't care. But for the sake of conversation, I'm going to go ahead and say my piece right now. And then, like I said earlier, if people want to go debate me or whatever, like I'm not going to go debate. Like, I have no energy for this, man. Like, this is not constructive. This is not constructive use of time. Whenever people get out there and people get so passionate about LeBron versus Mike, and when you argue with these little millennials, man, they don't want to even let you get your argument out. Like, they don't want to even hear what you're saying. Like, they don't want to hear what you're saying. They don't want to hear any of that. So I'm like, man, whatever. So yeah, if people put the same energy into like finances or into just bettering their life, man, we'd be, as a people, man, we'd be like light years ahead of where we're at right now. But anyways, let me go on first. Let me first start off by saying, number one, about LeBron. LeBron is definitely in my top five. You know, you can't like look, you cannot deny this brother's work ethic. I like what he represents. I used to have to give it to him. Like at the end of the day, he's like no other player we've seen. You know, from a physical standpoint, right? Like he's a big player, super coordinated, very great family man outside of the game. You know, you hear nothing but good things about his family and what he does outside. So I mean, he's like a good role model citizen for like what black males should be trying to achieve or get to when it comes to the family structure. But we talking about on the court right now, you know. So, like I said, LeBron definitely gifted. He's a one of a kind athlete, but he ain't Mike. I'm sorry, he's not Mike. You know, so let me go ahead and just get this out of the way, right? So a lot of people, when they start the LeBron Mike debate, they want to talk stats. So let's first address what stats are, right? Because if people don't even agree on this, then it's like there's no point in even having this conversation, right? But all statistics are, or all stats is they are nothing more than the amount of work it took to win a game, right? It's a measurement to define or to show how much work was needed to win the game, right? So if you're not going to win the game, stats are trash. I don't care about stats, you know? What's the point? The point of the game, the point of playing basketball is to win the game and win championship. It's not to go out there to see how many points you can score or what player, how many steals you can get in the game. Like that's all nice, but those are measurements. Those are just numbers used to determine how much work it took to win the game. All right. So let's do a quick juxtaposition on MJ versus LeBron when it comes to this, right? So how should I put it? When it comes to stats, it does like I'm trying not to like double back my argument right quick, but let's go ahead and look at this, right? So Mike was about winning. LeBron was more about outdoing Mike, right? All the data's there, right? All the information from when he first got started. Mike was about winning. LeBron's about being better than Mike, you know. And it goes to the 48 laws of power, right? And the 48 laws of power, you know, one of the laws is avoid stepping into a great man's shoes, you know. So it was never really clear to me, like when he came out of school, like why was he gonna like? I think when he first came out of school, he was trying to say, LeBron was trying to say, oh, I just have respect for Jordan, so I'm wearing his number. And then he's trying to say, oh, but I'm better than Mike. It's like, are you trying to honor Mike or are you trying to be better than Mike? So in my mind, when you put that jersey on, you're trying to say that, yo, you gonna fill them shoes, you know? And from a statistical standpoint, one can argue that he did or didn't. But as I said before, stats are nothing more than a measure of how much work it took to win the game. So here's how I see it. If Mike had to play 90 minutes in the game and put up 125 points to win the game, Mike was going to do that shit. Mike was going to do that shit, you know? Whereas if you look at LeBron and his track record right now, he likes to do what the millennials like to do, right? He likes to like go back and he likes to go back and reverse engineer winning. And you can't reverse engineer winning. You have to do whatever is required at that time to win. So when, for example, if you're in a game and you play 46 minutes, right? And you put up like 45 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, and y'all still losing, you can't come back and be like, well, shit, Mike put up, well, shit, I put up more than Mike did, and Mike's team won. That's not how you play the game, man. I mean, you can play it that way, but you're bound to lose, as you can see. You know, you can't reverse engineer the shit. You got to do whatever is required at the moment, and that's to me is what differentiates Mike from LeBron in my case. You know, Mike would have never said, like, if you go back and look at the Last Dance documentary, right? Mike even said, you know, when players came off the floor or when they called a timeout, they said that Mike would always ask, hey, what's the score of the game? And if you looked up at the scoreboard, you had to put money in this jar that went to the rest of the team, because the whole point is the score is always 0-0. The work is not done until it's done. You know, when you look at LeBron will be on the sideline, the stat sheet, keeping track of his stats. So clearly he cares more about his performance than he does about winning the game, you know? So, not saying that makes him a bad player. I'm just saying that doesn't make it, that doesn't make him Mike, you know? That's why Mike is going to be great in my eyes, because Mike was going to do whatever it took to win the game, you know? The one thing I want to talk about too is also, I call this the vacuum argument, right? This is the vacuum argument. You know, because people say, well, if Mike was playing in this era, Mike would get dusted, and if LeBron was back in that era, he would go. And okay, cool. Let's look at it. But let's look at it in a vacuum. Let's make sure that we compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. All right. So let's say that Mike was able to transport to this NBA in this day at his prime, right? If Mike could transport himself to the NBA in this present day time, Mike would be I take that back. Mike definitely would be better than average, right? There would definitely be a curve, because the players today are definitely more skilled and faster than Mike. I mean, that's just the evolution of people, right? You get bigger and faster, and then you have more technology to help out, to help develop different skills. So, but let's go a little deeper with that, right? Let's go further. So Mike would be better than the average player, but I think with the rules, and I think with how much money's being made, I think with all that come into play, matter of fact, you don't even got to put the money in there. Mike wouldn't even, I would say that with the way the game was being played now, what you would see Mike do is Mike would study Luka, he would study Steph Curry, he would study LeBron, and he would look at what they're doing to be successful, and he would do that times 1,000,000. Like, he would be obsessed. Mike would take any kind of tools that they're using outside the court, and he would do that and then find something else. And I think Mike would close that gap within 3 years and be the best player in the NBA, because he was that competitive. You know what I'm saying? Mike has a disorder, I think, when it comes to winning. Like, he just does not want to lose. He will do everything it takes in his power to win. He was determined, right? And then if you take LeBron, right? If LeBron could transport himself in his prime back to the NBA, back during Jordan's era, LeBron would be the best player in the NBA at first, But you have to take some things into consideration. One is you have to go and look at the salary that they were making back then, and like how much money they were making back then. Two, it's a different game, right? Like, you got guys like Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason beating you up every time you go in the paint. So, it's my conjecture that if LeBron could transport himself in his prime back to the 80s or back to the era where Jordan was in his prime, I think he would be the best player in the league for a season. But then I think he would like kind of fade off because of all the continual, punishment and the continual pounding that he would be getting by trying to drive to go to the paint. And then on top of that, the money wasn't what it was now. And LeBron is about that money. And I don't knock LeBron for that. That's like if he's not already a billionaire, he's on his way to becoming a billionaire, I think, Like he's very smart with his money, very smart with his investments, but he's about that money. So if he transported himself back to that time for one season, or at first he would be the best player in the league, but I think you would see him fade off. And after about 3 or 4 years, I think he'd be like, man, this shit ain't worth it. That's just my take on it, right? That's just based on what I see now and versus how things were back then. That's just me kind of meshing the two together, So like I said, LeBron is in my top 5 all time, definitely, but I'm not picking him over Mike. And I would say 100 times out of 100, I'm not picking him. I'm not picking LeBron over Mike. Just not doing that. I would take somebody that just has the will to win and just the desire to just not be beat and to never relent over someone that has all the talent in the world, and all the physical ability, but let's look at another thing, right? Let's look at something else, right? So something else is, like I said earlier, LeBron, way more talented, way more gifted from a physical standpoint than Jordan. But I think that Jordan tapped in to his potential way more than LeBron did. I think Jordan's potential was pretty much like 1-to-1 with respect to what he maxed out at. I think Jordan maxed out his potential. I think LeBron didn't max his potential out, because I think if he maxed out his potential, I think we would have seen a 100-point game from LeBron. But with the way how he plays the game, he likes to reverse engineer wins, right? He likes to say, okay, well, shit, Jordan only had to play 36 minutes, and he only had to put up 34 points and a double-double, or he put up a triple-double. That should be enough to win the game. No, it's not. There's more competition and there's more talent in this era, so you're gonna have to probably do more. And he didn't do that. He did it maybe a few times, but like I said, it's like splitting hairs at this point. And then another reason why I would pick, and this is like the backbreaker. This to me sealed the deal between Mike and LeBron. To me, there's no more discussion after this happened, right? So in the finals, when he played the Warriors, in the finals when he played the Warriors, when the Warriors had KD, right? And when Steph was busting their ass, LeBron got on Steph and slowed up Steph, right? When the Warriors started switching the ball out and they switched it out to Klay Thompson, and then Klay started busting their ass, LeBron got on Klay and then slowed him down, right? When the Warriors then, switched the ball or then swung the ball out to KD, and KD started to come out on the court and started busting their ass, LeBron wanted no parts of KD. Go back and watch the tape. LeBron didn't want no parts of KD. Now, I think LeBron could have slowed KD up. That's just my opinion. But I don't think LeBron thought he could slow KD up, right? Or I thought there was a chance that KD was going to show out, or he's afraid that KD was going to show out and play different, right? So, to me, that sealed the deal, right? Because Mike would have never done that. Mike would have never done that, man. Mike would have never had, if you're the best player in the world, whoever they bring on the court that's busting your ass, you got to get on him and you got to slow him down. You got to slow that leak, champ. So to me, when LeBron didn't switch on or didn't switch to go guard KD, I was like, bruh, no Cuban. Nah. Right? Mike would have, here's the thing, right? There's nothing wrong, to me, there's nothing wrong with losing, right? But there's a difference between losing and being defeated, When you lose, you give all your effort, and that means that somebody just had a better day than you that day, But when you're defeated, that means that there's something preventing you from even wanting to compete, right? So in that finals, when he had the opportunity to go switch on KD, when KD was busting their ass and he ain't switch over, I was like, yeah, nah. in that moment, in that instance, he was defeated, right? Because if you're the best player in the world, even if you're not the best player in the world, man, it's like you should have that pride about you that no matter who comes on that court, I'm showing up. And if they're going off, I got to go plug that hole. I got to go plug that gap, you know? So why else am I going to pick Mike over LeBron, right? So I'm not saying that Jordan was the mastermind behind this happening, but it just so happened that he was in that seat or in that spot when it happened. But Jordan made the NBA a world game, right? If there was no Jordan, right now there would be no Giannis's, there would be no Lukas, there would be no Jokic's. I mean, they would still be out doing something somewhere else, but Jordan at the end of the Olympics, that kind of shone the spotlight on the NBA around the world, and then more countries started playing around the world, and then now we have a world basketball league, you know? So I'm not sure what else can be done with the game at this point, but LeBron would have to do the equivalent, or would have to have transcended the game that much further, you know? So that's probably just fate. That's just luck, but it is what it is, you know? What else am I going to say about this? Like I said, LeBron, man, he's definitely in my top 5. And the way LeBron plays the game is LeBron is the type of player where he's going to dominate for like 3 quarters, and the game's probably going to be over, right, by the 4th. But in that rare instance when it's not over, you know, 4th quarter, you know, depending on who he's playing against, like, he might not want to compete all the way. You know, he might go to the stat sheet. Hey, man, I put up these stats. We should be winning, or we should win the game. That should be enough effort. You know, but Mike, like I said, when it comes down to that 4th quarter, Mike is going to do whatever he got to do to win the game. And whatever's in his control, he's going to do. You know, and if he gets beat, he's going to be like, you know what, I just got beat. You know, so anywho, like I said, I mean that kind of sums up my thesis on why I'm picking Mike over LeBron any day. I think there was a Grant Hill commercial back in the day where he basically said 90% of basketball, or I forgot the quote, but he said like the majority of basketball is played from the neck up. You know, meaning that you can have all of the physical ability in the world, but if you're not mentally tough, and I'm not saying that LeBron's not mentally tough. I'm just saying that he's not the toughest. He's not the toughest mentally, if that makes sense, right? Like, if you could like quantify Jordan's mental toughness versus LeBron's mental toughness, I think, you know, when it comes to competition, I think that Mike I think he would be a giant, you know, compared to LeBron when it comes to that, you know? Because I never seen someone so determined not to lose, man. I never seen anyone in my life that was, I would say the closest I've seen to that is Brady, Tom Brady, right? But Jordan just refused. Like he just was like, I refuse to lose. You know, I'm gonna do everything in my willpower to go do that, you know? But when it comes to LeBron, it's like, you know, he wants to look at stats. You know, if the coach not coaching right, he want to get the coach fired, and then, you know, he wants to then go build a team. But then if someone else builds a bigger team, he wants to say, hey, man, but they have a better team. Well, Jordan's response to that would be, they're a good team on paper, but they still got to prove that they're the better team. And I'm out to prove them wrong, you know? So, like I said, LeBron, I'm not trying to throw shade on LeBron. Got a lot of respect for the brother. Like, he's definitely like top 5. And like, he's definitely in my top 5. You can't, like, I'm putting him in my top 5 because of just how he's changed the game and what he's able to do on the court. But to me, it's like Mike does something else. Like, Mike just has that it factor. Mike is Mike, man. You know? Like I said, I've never seen anyone so determined not to lose, man. And I watched them, and that's the thing too, right? Like, I watched them game. Like, I challenge all you millennials, right? Do this exercise. Like, don't take it from me, but just, go do your homework. But when you watch a game, if you can, cover up the score, right? Cover up the score and the time in the game. Like, cover up the ticker, right? And, excuse me, when you do that, watch players' body language, right? If you can tell that a team is losing based on their body language, right? And not even watching the score, right? If you can like tell if a player is winning or losing, then they ain't Mike, right? Because if you cover up the scoreboard or the score and the timer, or the sports ticker at the bottom, and just watch the game, Mike's mindset was always the score is nothing. It's always 0-0. Like, if I'm beating your ass by 30 points, in my mind it's still 0-0 because I got to get this win no matter what. If I'm down 30, I'm still going, like, I'm coming at you relentless. Like, I'm not scoreboard watching, right? Every play by play, just competitive, And he was on your ass. So, like I said, that concludes my debate on why I'm always gonna pick Mike over LeBron. Y'all can call me foolish, y'all can call me whatever. I don't give a shit. Like I said, them dudes got their millions. I'm working on my million. I said my 2 cents, or I said my $2, and I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to, like, look, if you want to sit up here and say LeBron's better than Mike, then LeBron's better than Mike. I'm not gonna argue with you. I mean, that's what you want, But the one thing I will challenge you on is like, really pay attention to the generations, right? Like, what is the theme of this generation? The theme of this generation is they want to chase ghosts and they want to be better than the people beforehand, but they haven't realized that there's no way to compete or to prove that. So why not just be better than your competition now, right? One more point I forgot to mention, right? So when Mike was playing during his era, the one thing that I never saw was there was never any, like, debate on, oh wow, well, Oscar Robertson did this and Jordan did this, and is he better than Oscar Robertson? Oh, look at the numbers, look at this. Like, there was none of that. It was just Mike was Mike, and we just focused on the spotlight was on him. Like, there was no reason to talk about nobody else. Not saying that those guys weren't great, but everything kind of stayed within the era. Now, when you look at these millennials, they want to go back in time and they just want to say, oh yeah, well, I would have beat him and I would have beat him and I would have beat them. Meanwhile, you got competition up here busting your ass, right? Quit worrying about what motherfuckers did in the past and worry about motherfuckers busting your ass right now. How you going, like, right now, when you look at LeBron, you gotta be like, look, how's he gonna keep Giannis and Jokic and Luka and Steph off his ass? He got to separate from them. So that's all I got to say on the topic. Like I said, I'm not trying to convince nobody that Mike is better than LeBron or vice versa. I'm just telling you why I'm picking Mike over LeBron 100 times out of 100. Right? That's just me, And if you want to call me stupid or call me whatever, then okay, oh well, cool. You can't prove this shit no way, But whatever. Like I said, they got their millions. I'm working on my million, So that concludes that portion of the show. Now, right quick, I want to talk about a comedy bump. Talk about a comedy bump right quick, man. So, I be doing these audition mics, I do these audition mics for the Laugh Factory. And it's a brutal mic, man. It's like, it's all comedians, just comics. And man, that shit is brutal, because like no comic wants to laugh for another comic, like they want to be the one that moves on or the one that advances, right? And what they do is they pick the set, like the booker's there and they pick the set of the night, So I did it last Tuesday and I got on that stage, man, and the first joke I did, because the rule is you got to do 2 minutes clean, right? So you do 2 minutes clean, and if you get called back, then you get to do 3 minutes unleashed, and then you get called back the next week, do 4 minutes unleashed, and then next week is like 5 minutes unleashed, and you keep getting called back. And what they're looking for, I think, is a body of work, is what they say, you know. But man, I got up there and I brought my old clean throwaway jokes. And the first joke I did, I haven't done this joke on stage in at least like 5 years, you know. And I've done this joke probably a million times. No, I've probably done this joke like a couple, like 1,000 times, a couple hundred times on stage before. No issues. I got up there, man, and blanked on the first joke. Like, I did the setup, and then that joke just left my head. I was like, damn, you know, that joke left my head. But I recovered, you know, that was a positive. I recovered, and then I did my last 2 jokes, got laughs, and that was it. I didn't advance, obviously, you know, but that was a bump, man, you know. That was like, that's like, that rarely happens to me, but when it happens, it's so like nerve-wracking, you know. Like, I remember when I first started doing comedy, the second or third time I got up, I blanked on my whole set, you know, because of the pressure, you know. And that was like that was years ago. And then I most recently, when I did Chocolate Sundays at the Laugh Factory, which was back in December, my second time up there, I almost forgot my first joke. Like, I was on that threshold of just giving up, but I didn't give up. I didn't quit, you know. But it was awkward because when you heard my set, you wouldn't have been able to guess that by the laughter of the crowd and by how I pulled it off. You wouldn't have known that there was an issue. You wouldn't have known that there was an issue. But if you'd have saw my facial expression, I was like, oh man, I'm about to blank. And when I blanked, yo, it was like it was gonna go downhill from there. But I hung in there, you know. So I had the same thing kind of happen at this audition mic. And what I'm noticing is, I think what it is when the pressure rises, it's like the shit changes, you know. Like when you do open mics, you know, it's like it's like you kind of get up there, you kind of go. I wouldn't say go through the motions, but it's like I would say there's no consequence, you know. But when you get in front of like something where it's an audition and it's a make or break thing, that shit changes, you know. So I'm gonna need y'all to pray for me, you know, that, you know, such that whenever I'm put in big situations, I find a way to pull through, you know, because there's no way to really simulate pressure. Either you gonna show up or you not, you know. Like, you can do jokes in the mirror or jokes in front of open mics or whatever 1,000 times, but when you get in front of people for that first time and that pressure's on you, it's different, you know. So that's my comedy bump for today. Up next, I don't have a lot going on. Well, I got like workout shows that I work out at when I'm working out new material. I've added something to my process to develop more deeper material, you know. So I'm very excited about that. What else? I got some workout rooms. I got some spots coming up, mics or whatever. But then also too, I'm continuing the trajectory of Trippin with Theobold. You know, I kind of like the direction it's going in. I can always make improvements. But right now, I'm kind of I want to make sure that I solidify this channel and this pod, and I keep coming out with content that you guys so like, you know, or that you guys like, you know. So that's pretty much it. I'm just going to be consistent with the podcast, and then, you know, I'm keep working out, you know, new material at these workout rooms. And then also I'm going to get my I got to get my social media going, man. Like, I'm just like, I don't like social media. I don't like doing it, but you got to do it. You got to do it. This is the era. So, but once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks again for tuning in to Trippin with Theobold every Thursday, 6 o'clock. I will be here next week at 6 p.m. The following week, I will be out of town. I'll be back east handling some things in Buffalo. So, that's all. That's it. You know, so with that being said, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. Follow me, you know, and with that being said, That's all, folks. I'm out of here. Peace.
Yep.
Trippin' with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin'.
Yep.
Trippin'. Trippin'. Trippin' with Theobold.
Trippin' with Theobold.